I want to apologize to you guys for being a little bit late. I had some stuff that was going on and I didn't get home in time, and I want to apologize, but we'll be getting started here in a couple minutes. All right. What's going on, guys? You guys should be able to hear me. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear King Fun.
Hear
It's
me?
just been a crazy day, guys, and I apologize. I know things have been. Can you hear me, King?
Yes, of course.
Okay, why can't I hear King? Hold up. All right, King, talk.
I'm talking.
Hello. Oh my God, it was working just fine 6 seconds ago. All right, just keep talking until I can hear you, King.
Talking to attic. Talking
Is it my
to
headset?
attic. Talking to
wireless
attic. Talking.
desktop audio.
I know you can hear
Can you
King.
guys hear King? Okay, you guys can hear King. It's just
Of
I
course
can't hear King.
can.
Hold up. All right, try to talk now. They always be making this so complicated. All right, hold up. Usually I just switch and it comes right on.
The gunnies have blocked your ability to hear me. It's
I think my
so
overall thing
sad.
is messed up, to be honest with you. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, try to
It is
talk now.
true. Now you can hear me. Can you hear the words
Audio.
coming from my mouth?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
Adulterated. Oh God.
Oh,
As I
God.
look upon your frail human form,
I'm about to have a.
as I contemplate what we shall do with you, your time is limited, mortal. As we plan to feast.
Hold up, King. Hold
upon
up.
Your
It
shell.
worked last week just fine. Audio. Xbox headset. I'm
Dark
sure King
poetry.
is talking all kinds of nonsense right now.
Dark poetry you want. Okay, let me see. Let me dig in my bag.
See, I see you there. It's on Xbox.
Tweedledee, Tweedledum. How can we crush the mortal shell? Let me count the ways.
King speaking the word. Yeah, I don't want to hear
it. While Attic tries to figure out with his frail mortal fingers how he can hear a god, I will talk to you about what I've been watching.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
Ah,
Jesus Christ, man. Like, I did it 3 times and it wasn't working.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. We don't need your nonsense. All right, so I apologize for all that, guys. Let me focus the little camera I do have. Yes, I see people. It's just it's stressful, man. When like stuff's supposed to go the way it's supposed to, but everywhere they're like, no, we're not going to work. All right. So what's going on, you guys? R&R with the Lord. It's me and King. We're going to be breaking down stuff. We're going to be talking about stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on with, some movies that we've chosen for each other. There's also some DC stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff in store for you guys. And I think it's going to be an interesting conversation, man. So, all right. Let's what do you want to tackle first? I feel like we got to save The Last of Us and the DC stuff for last, because that's the highlight, the cherry on top. So I think we're gonna start. I did watch The Violent Night. I was able to pull it off at the last minute, and we could talk about it if you want. Yeah. So I played. Not played. I watched The Violent Night, and for those of you that don't know, The Violent Night's like a kind of a spin on Santa Claus that I don't think I've ever seen before. I don't think anyone's ever tried something like this before. I've seen Santa Claus like kind of kill people. There's a lot of aspects that Santa has graced the presents when it comes to stuff, but it's never been this, and it's interesting, man. It's interesting, what. Oh, King is off. Oh my god. All right,
hello
try to talk.
everyone.
Okay, can you hear it now?
Can you hear me now? Put a 1 in the chat. A 1 if you can hear the King.
They should be able to hear you. So,
a 2 if you cannot hear me.
unmute King. He's not muted. Talk, King.
I am talking.
Oh, one. They can hear you. They can hear you.
Okay, good.
So I did watch it. You know, unfortunately, I watched it at the last minute because I had a lot of stuff going on this week. This is like a really bad week. Like a really bad week. Stuff going on almost every day. I have been watching, my girlfriend's daughter a little bit more this week because she's been working, picking up hours. So this movie isn't something you can really watch with a little kid.
No, you cannot watch this movie with a kid. Yeah. But hold on, let me get Killian Brown. What up, Killian Brown, with the $2 super chat? Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. Sup, Lords? And did King get a chance to see Levi flex yet? Yes, I did get a chance to see Levi flex. Levi right now, and I haven't seen him in a vulnerable state yet, but Levi right now seems like one of those overconfident, cocky characters that you have to break his confidence at some point in time in the show. So I can't wait for that moment because I'm an Eren fan and an Armin fan. I don't like that dude. I don't like the fact that he had to stomp him in his face and his tooth had to come out and grow right back. So yeah, I can't wait to see Levi get broken. Pause.
You know what's funny when it comes to that? You're not gonna see that. Like, okay, look, cool. I will say there's a point where Levi does get humbled, but it's not because of his ego. It's not because of the way he does stuff. He gets humbled because he is, I would say, underestimated someone.
Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'll get to it.
You know, we got a lot. What? Okay, I guess we'll start with the Attack on Titan. What have you caught? What is the last episode you watched of Attack on Titan?
This has been an incredibly bonkers week. I've been watching Ragnarok of the Gods.
Ragnarok of the. Oh, I need to watch the first season. I remember I watched like 2 episodes and I never went back to it.
All right. So anyway, Attic is a fraud. I love this stuff. I love mano-a-mano combat. And this stuff gets me so pumped up. I can't even lie. So I watched the first season and I was amped, and they left it on the cliffhanger because you had Hercules versus Jack the Ripper. And when we got a chance to Jack the Ripper, it was more than I expected. I really thought that they can take a mundane character that you know nothing about and give him such a rich, intense, fake lore, and then craft a story around it. I love Japanese animation. I love their ability to take something and bend it and twist it to fit their narrative at that point in time. And the way they did Hercules, they gave Hercules a different type of lore, and they bend and they twisted it. But it's always about overcoming and persevering. And these battles is so intense. So, my wife was watching the battles with me and she's like, I can't take it anymore. like the way they leave you on cliffhangers. So yeah, man, I highly recommend Ragnarok of the Gods. Is on Netflix. Season 2 is up. I binged watched it. I didn't get a chance to watch any Attack on Titan. And I thought I was going to get a chance to watch some Attack on Titan, but that thing kind of consumed me. As soon as I saw it, it's like Baki or the Kensing tournament. When those things pop up, I go straight to them and I binge watch the hell out of them. That and 7 Deadly Sins. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. So
7 Deadly Sins is good. I really like that. I've been meaning to go back to that. Like I have, like it's something that's on the backlog. That now that you speak so highly of it, might go on there quicker. But I have been meaning to go back on that. So all right. Let's get back. I'm going to restart the segment. We're going to go back.
We will talk about
Violent
the DC Night stuff, but let Attic talk about Violent Night.
So Violent Night. King hit me up last week because I want you to watch Violent Night. Unfortunately, I waited to the very last minute because I was going to watch a movie with King. It's the You People movie that's on Netflix. Yes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that.
I did, but and I got a whole bunch to talk about.
I did watch Violent Night. Now, why did you make me watch this movie?
Okay, I'm one of those people that I don't celebrate Christmas, but I love Christmas time movies. And Christmas time movies, you see people all in the spirit and stuff like that. And I think that stuff is really fun and cool. But this was a different twist on it. This was like a Die Hard twist on it. It was like, because everybody likes to say there's a big controversy. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is it not? And it's a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. To me, it is.
I
So,
guess me and you differ a little there. I would consider Die Hard a movie, like an action movie, taking place around Christmas or on
right.
Christmas.
But there's a lot of people that watch that on Christmas, right? A lot of us older heads. So this movie was in the vein of that, Santa Claus wanting to win his love back in Mrs. Claus. He's drinking. Santa Claus he's a lush, but not really. Santa Claus really believes the list is real. All that stuff is real, and the parents are trying to tell the kids that Santa Claus isn't real. And when okay, so the whole premise of the movie is it's a interracial couple that have a daughter, and they're on the outs, and they're getting a divorce, or they've gotten a divorce, but they're separated, and they're spending the night at his mother's house, and she's immensely rich, and everybody's sucking up to the moms, because they want to be next in line for her money, and he's like really over it. He just wants his family, and he's trying to get back in good graces with his wife, his ex-wife, and they have their kid there, and she's the only kid of mixed color there, right? So, and not like that really matters. I don't even know why they did it, but they did it anyway. So she sends letters to Santa Claus, and they told her Santa Claus wasn't real, but Santa Claus is trying to make his run for the night, and he gets stuck in his house. And this house is that house. And lo and behold, a hit squad is there to
And it's a hit squad. Like
get money. And they infiltrated the place by posing as the help. And it's a wild, wicked turn of events. And there's so much joy to see. But as he's going along, he's doing Santa Claus stuff. And he's telling these people, yeah, when you went bad when I brought you the bike when I got you the bike for Christmas, and you ran over your cousin's finger or something like that, and he's like, that made you a bad boy. And he started saying the hit squad's names, because they was going by names like Peppermint Patty and Candy Cane and the Pillsbury Doughboy, stuff like that, Christmas stuff. And he just started calling them out by their real names. So these dudes is like, how does dude knows our name? It was so much fun, because then they go into the lore of how he became Santa. And I thought the movie was really good in its execution, and it stayed true to what it was. It was a movie about Santa Claus maybe giving up on the love, and him and Mrs. Claus ain't as tight as they supposed to be, but he sees this family fighting for their stuff, and this little girl who is like Home Alone too. It was a / Home Alone movie. I just thought it was really
I
nice.
actually I did like when they were in the attic, and there was a lot of like Home Alone vibes going. That was cool.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm not saying that it was a bad take on something. It's just, okay, here's my biggest thing, okay?
All right, talk to me.
I was for this when I thought that he was going to have some form of like, what's what I'm looking for? Like magical powers to fight like this army. Because that's what it was. It was an army. He was
it was an army.
And to me, he's a magical being. I thought they were going to take more of that aspect, because at that point, when like, what happens in like the barn area.
Yeah,
it's like, you mean to tell me this dude didn't get hit? Really? Like,
but it
didn't feel realistic to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he was Santa when he got that sledgehammer, and he was like Thor. It was a hope movie, and it gave a lot of hope. That little girl had a lot of hope. And then you found out a lot of things about how the hit squad got tipped off, because I really encourage everyone to see the movie. Be honest with you, this is a guilty pleasure. This is a night
It's
that
definitely a guilty pleasure.
you go get a little drink, a little sit down. It's a guilty pleasure. This is something that I guarantee you would tell somebody about it after you see it, be it good or be it bad, but it's definitely going to get out some laughs in you, and it's going to give you that Christmas feel. So if you didn't get a good Christmas movie this year, I think Violent Night definitely fit that bill. And if you're a person that likes, a little blood splatter here and there, because I'm going to tell you right now, they don't mince words. It's definitely heavy on the cursing, and it's definitely heavy on the violence.
And the gore is kind of insane. I think that's my only thing. It was like, I feel like the first part, okay, where he's I would have liked it to have been a redemption. He's losing faith in himself. He's starting to lose his own powers. You know what I'm saying?
But he did get redemption when the reindeer showed up.
I feel you, but it just to me, it should have been more him. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you.
I'm feeling like the beginning, when they show up at the beginning, they do their thing, and he's having to like pretty much fight them as a man because his own mind has put him on that level, because he's not really, because you even see he's having a hard time using his powers at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And to me,
people stop believing.
I wanted it to be one of those things where the longer the movie goes by, the more he gets back into his vibe. And then you start seeing, instead of walking around with objects, and that's all I'm going to say, he's walking around using his own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
When they did the
magic bag,
I thought they were going to utilize that more.
Yo, that magic bag is crazy.
Hey, let me go to the spoiler room real quick. Like, I thought what was going to happen is they were going to use the magic bag, like she was going to end up wishing for stuff for him to use to fight. You know what I'm saying?
That would be crazy.
But it's just like, to me, it's just like,
that's a part 2 though.
Is it out?
No, I mean, that's for a part 2. I mean, I thought the movie was good enough that it deserves a part 2. But let me get this super chat. The Black Harry Potter $5 super chat. Record of Ragnarok is fire. Hogwarts Legacy in 8 days, people. Definitely. If that's something that you definitely looking forward to, hell yeah. But, Record of Ragnarok is definitely crazy. I probably said Ragnarok of the Gods. yeah. Record of Ragnarok.
That's my only thing. My only thing is, why didn't you use more of your powers? Like, if it would have been one of those things,
I think his powers were diminished.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the first set of people, he had to fight them man to man. You know what I'm saying? But then when it came to like the people in the bar, when the reinforcements showed up, and that's all I'm going to read that up. When the reinforcements showed up, and it seemed like it was over for him. I'm thinking he about to use some like magic to get out of this. No, it just ironically, everyone got bad aim. No one aims to shoot. They shoot to aim.
All bad guys can't shoot. They're stormtroopers. They went to the stormtrooper school of aiming.
I would have preferred if that particular moment, like he has like some kind of uppity thing where he starts believing in himself, and then you see that juice starting to fly. It could even have been that gory. I don't mind the gory. I don't mind using Santa Claus, but I'm like, what's the difference between having any other person in there doing that? You could have took Santa Claus out of the equation, and not much would have changed.
Yeah, but you lose.
To me, Santa Claus was the golden goose in this matter, and to me, you didn't utilize the Santa Claus portion of the movie.
But that's what it is about. Nobody believed anymore, and he got his powers back because one girl truly believed. And as more people started believing, his powers started coming back. Because remember, when he started saying those guys' names, they started believing.
And I feel you on that. I just personally feel like when the second set of people showed up, when he was in that barn, would have been lit as if he started just like with the magic thing.
You wouldn't have got his backstory then. You
I
wouldn't have
feel
got
you.
how he became Santa Claus and why he was able to do the stuff that he was able to do. Because old boy was wicked with his hands, boy. Santa Claus get busy.
I just think it would have been cool is
Oh,
if he really utilized that in that barn. Like there was some kind of flashback, maybe something happened where he like thought of something that his wife said or something, and he got those juices back. They could have cut the gore. They could have kept everything. And like imagine him if they wouldn't have burned the biggest thing they had, which was the little Santa thing, the magical bag thing,
yeah.
and he's just reaching like for nunchucks and stuff in this bag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They had to take away his advantage to make him gritty with it. I'm sorry. I like what they did. They put him at a disadvantage, and to show you that Santa's gonna overcome, all he needs is just one person to believe in him. I fell for the movie hook, line, and sinker. My rating of popcorn for the movie is a 3 popcorn. Definitely something to pique your interest. Get in there and check it out. I get 3 popcorn for him, man.
so you
What's
give
your
three.
popcorn level? Yeah.
I gotta give it 2.
All right, I feel you. God
I
bless. I hear
just
that.
I'm not saying that it wasn't a bad movie. I just personally feel like the things that I would have watched for cool concept. You get Santa Claus. Santa Claus is in there. But what I would have enjoyed is for them to utilize that Santa Claus thing. You know what
I
I'm
feel you.
saying? For them to have used the magical abilities or something like that. Because to me, when I heard when I actually, because I thought this was about Santa Claus going loco. That's what I thought it was about. But then when I kind of like understood what was about to happen, that's
Yeah.
what I thought was going to happen throughout the whole movie. Is like he was going to start like being really fast or something, or like because a lot of like
Well,
religious,
he did use his magic to fly away on some stuff.
yeah,
Stop. Don't go. Give Santa Claus his credit, man.
I get
They
you,
had to,
I get
they
you.
had to do stuff for Santa. Man, I don't. I want to spoil it so bad, but I don't because it's such a dope film. But let's get on to this old film you had me watch. It came out in 2001.
Old film. What's that old film?
Frailty.
Frailty.
Oh God.
So go ahead. Explain to the viewers what frailty is. Because I
Frailty is
watched
a
it again. I watched it again. By
I
the way,
couldn't do that. Frailty is a psychological child abuse thriller.
that's
it's
actually a very very good description of it.
it is probably, once I saw Matthew McConaughey had a fat face, I was like, oh, this is after he did that cowboy joint where he had AIDS. I said, oh, I mean, this is before then, because after that, he has never looked the same after he had to lose all that weight for that movie. This film, oh God, where do I start? Do I start in the beginning where, the father, because, all right, there's a father and 2
Okay,
sons.
so this is such an old movie. We're gonna stay in spoiler territory like the whole time.
Yeah, we got to stay in spoiler territory because if you didn't see this film, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's it's oh my God, it was like pulling teeth, to be honest with you, to watch this film
I
because
don't think it's that bad.
I
I don't
think
think
it's
it's that bad.
terrible in the sense that this kid, he had these children questioning their reality. And if anybody knows anything about children, especially little boys, they, if your father's in your life, you look up to your dad. And sometimes if he's not and he comes around, you look up to your dad. If he's a good person, if he's trying. And this guy was tasked with taking care of his 2 kids after his wife died, giving birth to his last child, which was Adam. And Adam was he was very impressionable to his pops, and his pops never took out the fact that the wife died giving childbirth on his kid. Highly religious. He gets highly religious. It's a very religious film. And then one night he runs inside their room and he tells them, oh, God gave me a vision. And there's demons loose in this world, and it's our job to take them out of here. But to the untrained eye, they're going to look like normal people. But when he places his hand on them, he get to see all the horrific crimes and stuff that they've done. And God is going to give them 3 weapons. And these 3 weapons is the only weapons to kill these demons. And and normal weapons, bro. Is an axe, there's Otis, is a pipe. I said, what the hell is going on here, man? I'm not saying that Frailty isn't really good. In that time, in 2001, for the time, it was good. 2023, it just don't hold up the same. It has deer legs. It's like wobbly. It doesn't give me the same that I think it would have been back then. And I do love Matthew McConaughey, but see, learning everything is like Usual Suspects. This movie felt really Usual Suspect-ish, right? If anybody saw Usual Suspects and find out who Kaiser Sosa is at the end of the film, and he starts walking straight.
I'm glad that you've seen that, because that was going to be a movie I was going to.
Oh, don't you ever! No more of your old films. I'm not going digging in the crates for your old films. That's done.
Okay, I'm gonna hold my old films for when you have me watch some stupid stuff. So
yeah, no doubt. But okay, so throughout the film, they have you trying to, and the film is questioning your reality, having you question the reality of what's really going on. Is this guy a serial killer? Is he taking his children and indoctrinating them into murder? Because it's a part where the little boy, they have to get with this one dude, and the little boy acts like he lost something under the car, and the guy goes over there and bends over, they got the dude tied up, and they're gonna do things to this man. He indoctrinated these children into whatever scheme that he had going. But in the end, it truly turns out that he turned the little one into a serial killer, because the oldest son wasn't about none of that. The oldest son definitely was fighting back, and he locked his oldest son into a cellar for 7 days, and he said, we'll let you out if you see God. I don't know if the kid started seeing hallucination because he wasn't eating. I don't know if he was having, the sensory deprivation when you're alone for a long period of time. They do that in isolation in jail. People start seeing visions. They start hearing voices and stuff like that. So I don't know if the little kid was suffering from stuff like that, but all I can do while watching this film is like, this is a horrible, horrible man. And he's doing these stuff to his kids, and he got his kids involved into this mess. So I truly watched it through gritted teeth, and I just was like, whatever, I'm gonna get to the end of the film. And then there's a plot twist at the end of the film, which is hilarious, because they have you thinking it's one way, and all along it's this way. I'm really gonna tell you, this is the first movie I can tell you that is probably a 2 popcorn for me.
Oh,
Absolutely
it's a 2 popcorn.
Yeah.
He thinks it's a 2 popcorn.
Yeah, y'all just giving it more than 2 popcorn because of Matthew McConaughey. That's it. But he wasn't really in the film. He was in the film talking about it.
Bugging about this.
When the murders and stuff was going down, it was the little kids and the pops. Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool on this film. God bless. It's dope for 2 popcorn. 2 popcorn for the king.
I'm giving it 3.
I bet.
I don't think it's like amazing, but I think it's a good movie.
See, Killian Brown, 2 popcorn.
You're ridiculous.
And see, Don Scary, 1 popcorn. Usual Suspects is absolute fire. Definitely the truth. I mean, that's how you tell a film, and that's how you have a huge plot twist at the end. But it was dope. They tried.
Oh, I thought you was gonna like it. I ain't gonna lie, man. I really thought you was gonna like it.
I would have loved it if they wasn't doing the indoctrination of the children.
Do you think that you being a father interrupts you from really enjoying it, because like you're thinking of your kids and you know how bad that is as a father to treat that?
Oh, but you know what? He was truly unhinged. I thought the man was unhinged. So as a father, you know, you're too close to something, you see something a certain way, and you always want to protect your babies. So, man, I'll be honest with you, the dude was unhinged to even have his children participate in that. I've seen other movies where people, you know, their father was on a crusade from God, didn't involve the kids, but
Yeah, he did. And what's
yeah.
funny is, you know, there's a part in the movie that is crazy where he's like, the angels told me you're a demon. I don't
Oh,
believe
that
them.
was it. Yeah, and he was like, oh, my faith and love in you overpowered that part. But if it's divinely sent, then you're contradicting yourself right there. That's why the kid never believed anything he said. It got to a point where the kid was like, oh, my dad's bonkers. And
My
by any
dad
means
is
necessary,
bonkers.
I gotta stop this dude. Like when he hit him with the axe in the chest. Yo, listen,
Did you be honest? Did you expect that hole in the chest that he delivered there? Like,
I expected that kid to stop him because I
which kid?
saw once you lock your kid in a basement. Come on, man. What? Come on, man. Nah, hell no. I wasn't about none of that.
You
That film, I was
expected the
like, nah.
little brother to stop him?
Yeah, sucks. Sucky movie.
I mean, I get it, man. I get it. All
You ain't
right.
gonna
So,
like me on a couple of things today, but all right. So you didn't get a chance to see You People.
okay, hold up.
You-
So the next subject we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be talking about You People. It's a huge movie right now going on Twitter. It's a lot of social aspects going on in it.
Netflix.
I got a little bit of a Netflix. I got a little bit of a play by play. It wasn't
A
a whole
synopsis
lot.
of it.
Yeah, I do want to go and actually watch the movie because I've been told it's actually a good movie and it
It's a real good movie.
addresses social aspects we have in society today. So tell the people about the movie, man. Tell the people what I did like that I didn't get to watch and I was a little upset is I didn't. I really liked what's his name, Jonah Hill. Seemed like
Yeah.
he's the first movie I've ever seen him in where he was more of a serious role than other movies I've seen him in.
Well, I love Jonah Hill's acting chops, and my wife let me know that was Nipsey Hussle's wife that was playing Amira, his love interest in the film, and his name is Ezra in the film. This is the first time that Eddie Murphy he's been back, but he's the last film he did was Dolomite, I believe.
So
And
just out of curiosity, was you know how they like to throw in these big names, but they don't really use them a lot. They don't get a lot of
oh,
screen time. Was he in this movie a lot?
Eddie Murphy was all over this movie in a fashion that a lot of people aren't going to probably be comfortable with, and I don't think this film is made for you to be comfortable. All right, so this film is attacking your uncomfortability when it comes to stuff that we try to close our eyes to. But let me take a step back real quick and explain. There's what I did like about the film is the coming together of families and the union of families. What we don't do and what we've grown away from as a society, I guess, in my immediate circumference, is the meeting of the families before you get married, the asking for the daughter's hand in marriage, the respect that prospect son-in-law is supposed to have for the family, and the meeting of the minds that is supposed to happen between two families. I don't see that a lot happen, and I'm glad that this happened in this film. This film is really crafted around two individuals that find love with each other, even though one is Jewish and one is Muslim black, and they find a bond and they try to cultivate that bond. But we see that the family ties starts to yank that apart because there's so much untalked about things that people want to have conversations with, but they don't know how to have these conversations. And you see the awkwardness within both families trying to get to know the other child, like Ezra's family trying to get to know Amira, and yeah, Ezra's family trying to get to know Amira, and Amira's family trying to get to know Ezra, Eddie Murphy took the stance of a strong militant black man. He comes across angry, he comes across belligerent, he comes across disrespectful, dismissive. Um,
Now,
and
just out of curiosity, is it out of spite because he doesn't like the scenarios that he's in, or is it out of his experience that he doesn't like what's going on?
Everything.
Okay.
He comes across very, very belligerent, very he feels if he uh puts up this front because he wants to protect his daughter, regardless of what, both of them, right? The mother wants, or Ezra's mother wants and father wants what's the best for Ezra, and Amir's mother and father wants what's best for her, right? But they both families feel in their heart of hearts, that's not going to happen like that because, the races are supposed to stick together. We don't come from that, right? We grew up a little bit different. We grew up now in a melting pot. Things are different, but they're older. So you see these uncomfortable conversations that they get to have when they meet them. And it's very uncomfortable.
You know what's crazy though? Just sorry to interrupt you, King. Like
Yeah.
you look at Jonah Hill in this picture that I have on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
He has grown. Like you don't see him looking like this serious ever. Like
No,
I remember him
very serious.
I remember him back in like Accepted. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was him in Accepted. But it's just like he's been in so many. He's more of a comedy movie, and I think they do.
Oh, this is comedy.
Yeah, they. That's what I say. I think that they try to like intertwine this serious tone of comedy to try to like. It seems like to me, it's like one of those things where it's like this is a lot of uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable scenarios, but we're gonna make you laugh between those. Like
Yeah, and they do it. They do it well, but they also do it as in teaching, and you get a chance to see families reaching across, trying in some form of fashion. But then there's a message. And the message is get to know the individuals, right? Get to know the people. Don't use them as objects, or don't view them as what the past did, because it was a lot of past being brought up, like slavery, the Holocaust, and it's hurt on both sides. And if they actually took the time out to listen to one another, they would have heard the hurt inside each other's voices. But they were so busy trying to protect both sides, like the both children. And they're grown. But I did like that, like when my wife pointed out, the families did come together though to go to the wedding, whatchamacallit, like the pre-wedding party. They did get a chance to sit down. They did do those things. And that was something good to see, because everybody wants to know that they have the backing of their family, be they right or be they wrong, to have those people fortified in accepting your choices and trying to see your side of it. So I thought the film did a good representation on trying to bridge a gap. Especially there's a large gap between the Jewish community and the Black community. Oh, and really Muslims, but Black community. And I think this will start to show a little bit more. I think this movie would do a lot more good than it would do harm for bringing to light a lot of the stuff that they were talking about. And it was good to see. It was really good to see. I'm not going to give you any spoilers because this thing is new on Netflix and it just came out. So I would encourage anybody that is curious about the movie, like comedy, or in a interracial relationship and is having these struggles with their family members, to sit down and see how they deal with it in this film, to see if you can use those same tools in your life to try to bring those tools out to fix any little things that's going on, because it's very important. I'm dealing with an interracial relationship now, basically, and it's Dominican and Black. So it's a language barrier, there's a cultural barrier, and it's just learning to bridge that gap in between. And I just found it very refreshing that they didn't run from any of the hard questions.
What I find like interesting is like, if you really sit back and you think about it, like the way the world was originally orchestrated with everyone having different languages. Like, we were really never supposed to intertwine like we are. Like, but throughout years, we've learned how to break those barriers, figure out each other's languages, and we're here where we are now. And it's just, we got a long way to go. I do, even though that we've talked, I think I am going to go back and watch this, because I watched like 5 minutes of it right before I went to this morning. And when I talked to you, he's like, watch Violent Night. I should have watched this. I should have watched this.
See, the thing was, this, you watch this with your girl. Watch this, because this is a good film. There's no problems. There's a lot of cursing, mostly from Eddie, which you're going to be like, wow, really? But he plays his role so well. And it's so good seeing successful families, right? I mean, that's what you want to see, successful families.
This reminds me of a movie I seen about like the interracial thing, like being that shock factor, because that's what it seemed like this movie's about. What was it? It had, I think, Ashton Kutcher in it or something, and he was dating a black woman, and when she brought him back home, the family was not feeling it. Like, I can't remember what movie that was, but I like the concept of it. I just need to actually sit down and watch it. I'm showing the actors on here now. The chick to the far right, that's the chick that used to be in.
Guess Who? Yeah, you talk about
Guess Who? Yeah.
Yeah, check this out, right? My wife thought that Neil Long was in Destiny's Child, and she was like, "I'm telling you, that's the girl from Destiny's Child." And I had to show, no, boo boo, she's not. But definitely, and I'm glad you're watching, and I definitely exposed you.
Funeral's another one. I like Funeral. That's the one with
Funeral's dope too.
That's the one with I don't know if Chris Rock's in it.
You talking about
is Ice Cube in that one?
They gave the white kid I think some pills, and he was sitting on the roof. He gave him some ecstasy or something like that.
That was on Netflix not long ago. There's a lot of good movies out there, you guys. Like, what's funny is my dad was raised as a racist, and rest in peace. But we got into an argument once because we was watching Barbershop, and I was telling him, I'm like, because me and him always went back and forth. Like, my dad was like one of those radical people. I won't go into some of his comments, but he would always argue with me about like schematic stuff like that, and I was like, it's just like this. We're watching the Barbershop. I was like, Dad, this would not be the same with white people. Like, it just wouldn't. Like, there's a such thing as black humor, and that's what this movie does well, because that's why it's so successful. And he's like, no, they could have easily put white people in here. I'm like, name some actors that could have did just as well. Well, crickets. He couldn't do it.
I understand what he's saying. If they would have did Barbershop for white people, but see,
I feel like the two environments are so different. It would be a different movie. Different. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
It is, right? Because the black barbershop, and there's a barbershop scene in this film. Funny that you said that. The barbershop, the black barbershop, is where people go to snap. Everything happens in a black barbershop. Everything. When I go to my barbershop, I mean, there's a hairdresser in the back, but these guys are selling TVs in the back. I see TCLs leaving all the time. My barber is a notary, so people come in and he's like, hold on one second. And he's actually notarizing stuff as it's going. And we're talking about the football game. We're talking about the baseball game. They got lines on the wall talking about who's going to get what on. They're betting on the game. It's so much going on in a black barbershop, and that's all you hear. I've never heard of anything going on in a white barbershop.
There's nothing. They talking about sports, so that's about it. Like,
yeah. So,
and what's funny is right. Like, it's awfully ironic. Like, there is there is a barbershop in Virginia that has a white owner, but the majority of the barbershops here, they're all black owned. Like, almost all of them. Like, I was talking to Cog once, because he's like, you going to eat three? He's like, you gonna need to upkeep that face of yours. You can't go out there looking like that. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, he's like, don't worry about the dough if you don't got it. I got you. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, but I got a condition. I'm like, what, Cog? You got to do it by a black dude. Like,
yo, I'm gonna tell you this. I go to my black barber, but when I'm going out with my wife and we're going to somewhere special, I'm going to a Dominican.
A Dominican?
I'm not gonna lie. I gotta respect they haircut game, son. That line, the line that they put, I don't know how they do it. I don't care. And it's the majority of the Dominican barbers that I went to, they shape up game is so lit, it's crazy. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably take you to the Bronx and take you to a Dominican barber when you hear.
You know what's funny? The white people talk about like the Bronx and Queens and stuff, man. I'm sorry, I want to stay out of those. I come up there and you guys let's go to Manhattan, sure. But then I hear like certain things and I'm like, nah, I think I'm fine in New Jersey.
I told you, next time you come, you staying with me because that's what has to happen. But yeah, man. Yeah, he said, see, look, Killian Brown. He said, yes, me too. Lineup is different. I'm telling you, I mean, it's not racist. It's just 100% the truth. If you want to look sharp that night, you best to go to a Dominican barber, man. Don't play around with
it's just like one of those things where it's like, especially people of color, like their hair tone is different. Yeah. So a lot of them, I'm getting in a barber because I want our people to look nice. And white people don't have that. Like, most white people lose their hair. Like, let's be realistic. Like,
you're talking to a bald-headed dude and you got hair. Shut up.
No, not really. Like, but we talking about one white and one black dude. You go to Walmart, count white people, there are going to be way more white people baldless than black people. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I guess we're not eating the same things.
No, I mean, it's technically you eat a lot healthier than I do. You only eat fish and stuff, man.
Yeah. But anyway, shout out to your glorious beard.
So I think we're going to get to the DC stuff, man. Is that where we're going
today? And I told you I'm 98% right all the time. My man James Gunn came out. He had to spit them facts for those dudes who wasn't on the train. James Gunn said, I'm going to deliver you the roadmap to my vision of the DC universe. And he sat there and gave it out for free. Where are all the gunny haters? Where is the gun haters? I haven't seen nobody go on that Twitter line saying, shut up, James Gunn. I don't like you. You got rid of Henry Cavill. No. James Gunn said, we want to merge animation, TV, and movies with all the same actors, with all the same voices, merge into one universe that's indistinguishable from this format to that format to that format. And that's how the format should grow. Attic, Tyler, is that a recipe for success or is it a recipe for destruction?
Well, go ahead and talk, Tyler. Make sure the people can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Are you unmuted?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hey, how's everyone doing?
Fantastic.
I think it's looking at this list, it's pretty good. There's a couple things in there I don't even know for somebody who reads DC Comics, but Booster Gold as a TV show, Superman, Batman with the new Robin. I think it's a recipe for success as long as they keep up with it. It's about finding the right actors. If they hire some people and things don't work out and then they're scrambling, trying to figure out if they have to change people or what are they going to do, that's where the issues come in. So,
Tyler.
It's cool. So it's all right. So why he gets back, I have no clue what happened there. King, okay. Tell us the changes, man. There's a lot of changes going on.
James Gunn, probably, he watched The Flash. He told you that The Flash is the jumping off point for everything that's changing in the DCEU. He also told you that he's happy with Shazam. Shazam is a done film. They pushed those 3 films back which were done to slate them off into this year. So it's going to be Shazam, and then you're going to get the Flash, and then after Flash, Blue Beetle, and then you'll get Aquaman. He's very high on Blue Beetle. He feels that Blue Beetle can be his Peter Parker. He feels that Blue Beetle can be his Spider-Man. Remember, he says, as a kid, as a teenager, you know, in this universe, he's going to position Blue Beetle, and he believes that he has the ability to turn Blue Beetle into a household name, because what he realized is that the DCEU needs a Spider-Man type figure, right? Something that's relatable to the children of the time, and something that is topical enough that can spread like wildfire. Because children really can't identify with Superman. They damn sure can identify with Batman. And little girls can look up to Wonder Woman, but they really can't identify with Wonder Woman until they're a little bit older. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get teenage level characters. And, you're going to do that because I heard his love for Damian Wayans. Now, I like what he said with Batman, where he's going to attack it from the Brave and the Bold standpoint, because the Brave and the Bold was some of my best comic books. Now, the Brave and the Bold usually had Green Arrow and Batman, or Green Lantern and Batman, but the Brave and the Bold usually was a team up. Marvel had Marvel 2-in-1 or Marvel Team Up, where the Thing in Marvel 2-in-1 would team up with every hero, and Marvel team up was Spider-Man and somebody usually. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to use that aspect of the Brave and the Bold and that storyline with Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne, and going deeper into that character, because like he said, he loves the way that Robin is. He thinks that Robin is the best Robin. Now, what I feel James Gunn's best attributes is taking obscure characters that you know nothing about and making you feel for them. He has a couple of passion projects that he's looking at, and one of his first projects that he's bringing across, what was the name of the first project that he's bringing across, the animation? Do you remember? Because I can bring it up, but the first animation that he's doing, it's lesser known characters, but what he wants to do with these lesser known characters, the same way he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy, is make you care about characters that you never knew about. And then the reverence that he has for Supergirl, he gave you a distinct vision of how he sees Supergirl opposed to Superman. She didn't grow up and land with the Kent family, and she wasn't taught these morals and stuff like that. What she did was she saw a lot of her friends and families die, and she has a jaded outlook on the world. Now, you're looking at a super being that has super class power like Superman and has a jaded outlook on life. So she's going to probably be a little bit rougher around the edges, not the soft Supergirl that we've been seeing. So I think he's taking that aspect with it. And then you have the Booster Gold TV series. I like Booster Gold. He explained his backstory.
I do got on the screen, guys. I do have a list of everything that's going on.
All right.
So we got Superman Legacy. That's going to be a film. I don't know if Tyler's back or not.
He's
go
back.
ahead and speak whenever when you can speak, Tyler. So that's going to be a film. We obviously knew they were going to bring Superman. Like, you can't have Superman. Well, you can't have DC without Superman. It's just how it is.
Right.
The Authority. I have no clue what that group is. None whatsoever.
That's one passion project.
Then we got Batman and the Brave and the Bold. What I'm curious is no origins. They're going straight to his kid.
Well, they don't need it no more. The world, the DC world, like he said, Shazam is here. These characters are here. So he doesn't have to tell you the same story that you know. We don't have to see Batman's family die over and over again. But what we didn't see is Damian Wayne's story, right? So I think he's going to attack the Brave and the Bold through Damian Wayne's eyes, and give you a version of Batman as a father instead of the complete Dark Knight. Right? Give you a different aspect of Bruce Wayne as he tries to have this young assassin become a little bit more civilized and deal with society because he's rich, so he's a rich assassin. You have to change the mindset of the child because the child has been formulated to be this killing machine from a young age.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, there you
we
go.
can hear you fine.
Cool. Yeah, so I think he's going to take the same approach they did with Spider-Man, where if we've seen the backstory already, they're not going to keep showing it over and over. We've seen Batman's origins how many times?
Yep.
So I don't think there's any need to. We've never seen Damian. I'm assuming same with the Green Lanterns. If they're going to have Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in there, I'm assuming we're not going to get any kind of origin story for that.
Do you think it's going to be a buddy cop film?
It might be. I don't know what the fascination is with making Green Lantern TV show. I feel like to me, I feel like Green Lantern's a movie. Like Booster Gold, definitely TV show. Amanda Waller, definitely TV show. But I'm surprised. This is like the third time they've talked about making Green Lantern to a TV show, not a movie.
Do you think that that's WB pushing to have content?
No, I will give pushback on that. I will give pushback on that thought because how he said it, it's a crime thriller. And they're police officers, they're detectives, right? And they said the precinct is Earth.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you tell you can tell episodes, and it's this episode, this happened. I think it's a different take on a high character, but we also got to remember that as powerful as Green Lantern is, he's just a human, and he is tasked with taking over the what is it, this sector. I forgot the name of the sector, but that encompasses Earth, and then Jonathan Stewart takes over that part where he becomes the Phalanx. So I don't know how he's going to attack that, because you can't have two Green Lanterns occupying the same sector, right? There can only be one. So is it going to be that John Stewart is a rookie and he's getting ready to become detective in another galaxy and he's going to go off that way? Or are they going to do it as, Hal that's turning bad and he's a corrupt Green Lantern? How would they do the story? So I think they have something crafted in place that you can do it episodically as a TV show and work from there. But it's cool.
Real quick, when it comes to the Lantern thing, I'm resulting to you two. You're the comic book people. I do have all the colors of Green Lanterns, like on the screen. So I didn't know there was this many. Okay,
yeah,
I thought there was a yellow one and a green one. That's all.
That's how it used to be.
Okay, so I assume what I've been told is I assume they go off of certain emotions that you have.
You have death.
Correct.
You have death, anger, envy, greed, righteousness, holy, jealousy. I forgot what the other ones, but what you have to read is the story. I will tell you. I'm going to send you a link to the whole storyline of The Darkest Night, and that is Green Lantern's greatest story.
Great comics.
Greatest story ever written.
Just to clarify, we're looking at this. All right.
Right.
They're going to be a Lantern TV show, which I would agree with you, Tyler, 5 years ago. But I feel like TV has gotten to the point where it might not rival a lot of movies, but I think it's in the same realm. Like you could tell, in a lot of cases, you could tell a better story than you can in movies. So, like to me, when you look at all these colors, obviously, and you said there can only be one Green Lantern in every sector. Now, do these rings have a society, or is it like one and done's with some of them? Like only one person got the black ring.
Oh,
it's
no,
like
no,
Power Rangers. Like
no. All right,
except
so
for Orange, right? Unless they change that, Orange only has one user, as far as I knew, because that's greed.
Yeah, that's greed. All of these lanterns are different groups. They don't mess with each other. All right, they don't mess with each other. I'm trying to give you the simplified version. I can tell you the complicated version, which is
No,
we
we
don't
ain't
got a
doing
show for that. But the simplified version is they all have their own groups. They're by themselves. They don't mess with each other. And 9 times out of 10, they're fighting each other.
All right, so now with that interception, because they said that TV show is going to be two lanterns. Is it two Green Lanterns?
Yes.
Two greens.
Okay, so
And he said it's going to be other Green Lanterns.
So do you think that they will eventually try to sneak a lantern from a different color in this just to show variety in the show, or do you think they'll show that for maybe a movie that comes out after the show?
They said that the Green Lanterns lead to an overarching bigger story. I believe that's the Darkest Night. I believe, see, Marvel's biggest story was the Infinity Gauntlet. We already see Crisis on Infinite Earths with the TV show. I don't think James Gunn wants to tell that story if it's been told already. And no one's told the Darkest Night. So I believe that he's going to use the Green Lantern TV show to build up a larger base. Because remember, he said every actor that plays in whatever role it is going to be traversal throughout all of the stuff, throughout all forms of their media, which would be anime, TV, and movies. So I think they're going to build up the characters all the way straight to the Darkest Night, and they're going to culminate in that, and that's going to be his Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet, because that story is that big.
Yeah, it'd be nuts if they put that on film.
What?
So, question to you guys: this Swamp Thing. That's the only one that they said that didn't seem like it mattered. It seemed like that was a passion project for someone. Who was the Swamp Thing? Is it a DC villain that they're making a movie about? Like,
you didn't see the Swamp Thing when they had it, right? That was a psychological thriller too. He's a tortured soul that is trapped in the Swamp Thing's body, and he is supposed to free. Okay. Him and Man Thing are the same. Man Thing is inside Marvel. Swamp Thing is inside DC, right? And if you saw Werewolf by Night, the Man Thing and Swamp Thing is pretty much the same. I just feel that, but they're both intelligent. I was just gonna say, I thought that the Swamp Thing was a little bit more intelligent than Man Thing. Man Thing's a little bit more lumbering, and Swamp Thing has a little bit more purpose with the people that he goes, and he's like Groot, but lives in the swamp, but he has different kind of powers. But he's a tortured soul.
So would you guys assume that these films, these top 5, Superman, The Authority, Batman, Supergirl, and Swamp Thing is like maybe not Swamp Thing, I don't know, depending on how important, I don't know anything about him. Do you think that's going to be like the foundation that the future of DC films stand on?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to hit every corner of the DC universe, because with Swamp Thing, he's more of the like mystical Constantine, the more mystical kind of people, where you have Batman with the detective, the human kind of aspect of the Earth heroes, Superman, Green Lanterns. It feels like they're trying to hit like at least one cornerstone of each part of the DC universe that they can build off this one main character and build into a bigger story. Darkest Night, whatever the story may be. And so I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know anything about Creature Commandos or The Authority.
Passion projects.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you where those fit, but
so do just to clarify, do you guys think that like it's good they're gonna run you know what I really liked about this that even Marvel won't do? if any of these characters, they're like, look, like we're gonna run TV, movies, and games, and they're all gonna be the same universe.
Yep.
And that's bold. Because now if someone makes an animated thing, you have to make sure that they can voice it on top of doing anything they're doing currently. Like, you guys are right, man. James Gunn might be the person, man. He might be that guy.
I told you I'm right 98% of the time. And I knew he was the guy. We wouldn't have got the piss poor phase 4 if they would have let James Gunn do what he was supposed to do. But different, when one door closes, another door opens, different opportunities. And I'm just excited that he's excited. I'm excited that he's sitting there with Stewart and they're going over everything and they're planning out an 8 to 10 year plan for what's coming next. And he said HBO Max, so I think he's going to try to deliver enough content to keep HBO Max still going. I heard they were supposed to be defunct and it was supposed to be just under HBO umbrella, but who knows? Maybe we can stop hearing about people screaming for the Snyderverse and the Snyder situation, and we can just dig into what he has on the plate, because the real proving point is going to be the Blue Beetle movie, because that's going to be his movie, right?
When does that come out?
Shazam is not his. Flash is not his. Aquaman isn't his. But that Blue Beetle movie, that's his. And we're going to judge him based on that Blue Beetle movie.
I think they're still filming, so it should probably be next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when that comes out?
Yep.
So I worked during the day, so I only saw a brief clip of him talking. And that's what got me excited, is you watch James Gunn talk about these, and he looks excited for this. He has his fingers and everything. And I already thought he was going to be good, but seeing him in the one clip I saw talking about it, every single thing he put out there, he looks excited. He looks ready. He wants to do this. He handpicked each one of these characters. I think it's going to be good. I think the hardest part might be the casting part, because this is going to be a long haul. You sign one of these contracts, you're not doing anything else. If you're doing video games, TV, movies, like it's gonna be a busier schedule than Marvel has their people on right now.
Yeah, because they're cross. They're pretty much, and if you think about it, King and Tyler, that's a genius move, because not only are you captivating on a TV aspect and movie aspect, you're also bringing that over to the animated thing. And if you look at it, Marvel did the TV thing like years into it. And they're doing it from the start.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Voice actors that don't do acting, are they going to be in uproar?
Yeah.
Yeah. We thought about it in the aspect of continuity. Now you're breaking the norm, because let's say you take Chris Evans, and I mean, Marvel did it with Marvel Zombies, right? Or the What If. They had the voice actors that acted the actual characters, and they went back and they voice acted the characters in What If. But you're talking about taking one of those shows, taking those characters, and possibly crossing them over to a TV show, which probably be inside the Green Lanterns, and taking them and putting them on the big screen. Now, we don't get TV actors crossing over to the big screen. That's a huge taboo. We don't get voice actors that can actually act their character on the big screen and on terrestrial television. So what he is doing is he's breaking down norms, but is he causing a rift in the voice acting community? Because people that stake their lives on, well, the voice of Batman, right? Well, now, if you can't act on the TV and act in the movies, we can't use you.
Do you think that's going to encourage people to get better? Do you think that would actually hurt them casting, because now they have to have a specific type of person that's willing to do that? Because if you think about it, especially if they're big on the games, where they want to build a gaming universe with the actual DC universe,
right?
That means you're going to have to get someone that's willing to do mocap, most likely. Because they're going to want them to look they're gonna want them to look similar. So
This
that
is
means
gonna be
you got to during the interview thing. It's gonna be like, have you ever voiced animation? No. Next. Have you ever acted in a movie? No. Next.
Like,
Have you ever
are you
mocapped in a
willing
video
to?
game? No. Next. Like,
Are you willing to though? See,
Yeah.
this is the thing. You're gonna have to have the actor, and we know that we're gonna get great actors and actresses because they are going to be knee deep, 100% invested into this character.
I think it is going to matter too on how much the funding is. Like right
Oh, this is
now,
crazy.
it's going to be crazy going out the gate. But if I'm concerned that in a couple movies that they're not seeing a return that they would expect supposed to be high. Like, I'm hoping James Gunn has humbled them and like, look, your last stuff ain't doing it. You tried it for years. You have to work with me. We're not going to come out the gate swinging fences. But if you give me a few years of doing this, I can promise you a semi-return like Marvel has. But you got to stick with me. You can't just cut funding because this movie didn't do as good as this movie. Like, yeah. I'm concerned of that.
I think that's the biggest concern is WB, just with their history and the way that they love to stick their nose into things. I think that's probably my biggest concern is what kind of leash does he have and how much are they willing to step back? Yes.
Well, we already saw how much power he has. He got rid of The Rock. We got 79 people. We got 37 likes. Like my man AKW said, hit that like button and share it out to your friends because the main event is about to begin.
Yeah, we're about to talk about The Last of Us. So Tyler, do you want to stick around for The Last of Us thing?
Sure.
Is that okay with you, King?
Oh yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So all right.
Hold on. I'm ending this. All right.
Did y'all see The Last of Us? And I'm going to start to tell you guys. I'm talking to the chat right now. If you don't want this episode spoiled for you, I suggest you turn around, close the door, and walk away.
Yeah, but we will be over talking about our overall perspective of it before we start like spoiling stuff. It's not going to be extra, but we will be talking about our overall perspective of the show first. So if you don't want nothing interrupted, head out the door right now. Right now, you good. But here in about 5 minutes, you ain't good.
You're about
all right.
To be bad. Very bad.
So, King.
Yes.
I'm going to let you two go first because I think me and you two, because I already talked to Tyler a little briefly about this, I think we're going to differ on this one.
Oh, I think not. Anybody seen The Last of Us 2? No, James Gunn doesn't shy away from. I mean, James Gunn. Wow, I'm still stuck on James Gunn. On Neil Druckmann doesn't shy away from controversial things at all.
At all.
All. Neil Druckmann is a disruptor. He's chaos stirred up in a hornet's nest and released on your face. This episode had me feeling uneasy from the very beginning of the episode to the credits going up in the episode. And I know people is going to say, oh, King is... No. You don't know why I was uneasy. Starts off, we already know that Tess is dead. And Ellie is left with Joel. And you could tell that Joel is a little bit perturbed. That he's stuck on this situation with this kid that he doesn't know that probably is going to turn into a monster at any damn second. That he lost the only person that was his person that he was in charge of to protect. And he has now this new thing that he has to care for. and he goes to eat his food, and he throws his food
That
at
he
her.
low key was guilt tripped into doing. Like,
It was.
Yeah.
But what Ellie did at the very beginning of the show, the very beginning,
she set a tone for the rest of the show. You ain't blaming
damn
me.
right. Damn right. She damn right set that tone right there. Don't blame me for what went on. You had a choice. You wanted to get your battery or whatever the hell. And I was like, yo, I said the balls on this kid. But she was speaking facts. That part right there encapsulates the episode. And their meeting of, you a tough dude, but I ain't no pushover type of kid. You're dealing, she's a different breed, a kid. But she's a kid too, so you have to look at it every 5 seconds. My wife, because I suck my teeth, and my wife is like, "Yo, she's a kid. She's never been outside. Just think about the first time you were sitting inside a car, or you was walking in a forest, or you were doing whatever. She's going to do what little kid stuff do." So, okay, that's my frustration with that. The interaction with Joe and Ellie, when she does stuff that puts herself at direct danger with Joel in the vicinity, and he's not knowing that he has to keep his eyes on kids because he hasn't had a kid around in such a long time. And he has to keep his eyes on this kid at all times because this kid is always into something. Every second of that episode, you leave her alone. She's doing something that she should not be doing. And it's bad parenting on Joe's part. But Joe doesn't want to be a parent anyway. He's like guilt tripped to be a parent. And it's just a nice dynamic when he tries to shield her from what was up the road. And her being a defiant kid brushes him off like, what, you don't think I'm tough enough to see it? You don't think I can see this? You don't think that I can handle this? And she gets a chance to see what he was trying to shield her from. But that was Joel trying to be a parent, because I guess he started softening, his heart started softening from all that crust that built around it, from his daughter dying and him going through this world rough. He was trying to shield her from what they were going to see. And I thought that was touching. But she's not like his kid that passed. She's a little bit rougher. She's a little bit curse around the edges. And he has to learn this kid. And I thought that was a really good interaction between the two. I want to know your thoughts on the action just between Joel and Ellie in those brief scenes, because the episode really wasn't about them. But that interaction that they're getting to learn each other without the barrier of Tess being the mom figure there. Just Joel and Ellie.
I'll let you go first, Tyler.
I love their dynamic. I played the game. Big fan. I wasn't sure because he looks so much like the character. I was like, man, I don't know how this girl's going to work because she doesn't look anything like the character. But their dynamic on the show is great. And I think they both do a good job of, I've never been in a car. This is great. What can I play with? And him, you can see he's frustrated, but he's also trying to remind himself that she's never experienced anything, and I don't know how to handle this. I think their dynamic's great. I think it's one of the best parts of the show so far.
Yeah, I think it's good too. I think for the most part their chemistry is on point, and I don't think anyone can dispute that. Sure, you can dispute maybe casting was error. At this point, I am used to her as Ellie. Like, it is what it is. We have to deal with it, But I do think that particular part of the episode was perfectly fine, especially that moment where she comes across. It looked like a clicker, like a messed up clicker in the basement.
But he wasn't a clicker. He didn't turn all the way yet.
Oh, okay. Half his head, so I didn't know if the collision knocked half of it off or something. So Yeah, she wasn't making that clicking noise either. So it just, I thought that was good. There's a lot of good moments there, and then we get to the Bill part. Now, how did you guys feel about the Bill part?
Oh, let me ask you a question. In the game, isn't Bill black?
No, he's white.
He's white. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was confusing him with the other guy. Remember they found him in the town? The black guy that was like up in the house?
The one with his brother. Yeah.
Yeah. The sniper dude.
That's after this.
All right. Okay,
I think that's supposed to be the next episode.
Okay. I started all over again in the game. This movie show has me back at the game. Shout out to Sony for doing a great job. Because
do you think that they should have released the game after all 8 episodes debuted? Because I feel like a lot of people are a little bit down on the show in terms of we already know a lot of the story because we literally just played the game. They literally just released it again for us to play it.
No.
I don't think so. I just finished part 1 on the PS5. I just beat it Sunday before the show, and I'm so happy I played it because there's so many things I forgot.
And that's my thing. Like, I want to remember these things because, like, I just asked you. I totally forgot about this character, right? So he's a doomsday prepper, a survivalist that he calls himself, and he was right. How many times can we say these doomsday preppers or the survivalists are right? This guy was right for everything that he did, the plans that he had in place, because as soon as the military came and took the people away and started killing the people because he didn't trust the government at all his conspiracy theories were right. So he said his plan was sound, and he went right into action, fortifying his little city, his little town for himself. But the one thing he didn't count on was he was absolutely alone. That alone stuff works for but a little bit of time until you start missing interactions with people.
We've seen people go crazy all the time with that alone stuff, like Castaway. Like, dude literally befriended a ball. Like,
was there nobody else showing up? So, he had everything. He had unlimited, fuel. He wasn't driving around anyway. He stayed in the town. He would just go from point A to point B. So he had enough gas. I think he drained the 2 gas stations that was in the town. He drained them, and he had enough gas to go to another town to get more gas or whatever. He had generators. He hit it
quick too, like quick.
Fast. As soon as they left, he went right in because he knew he has to get there before the looters. Everything that he did was on time, spot on.
Turn the gas on, like after they turned it off. And you know what I like? The resourcefulness of Bill. That he was a dude of all traits. He knew exactly what to do. He knew exactly how to make his little traps. He knew where to go, what to get. He knew it's like you said, he's been living his entire life for this particular moment, the moment where he can shine. Like,
yes, but
went straight to the boat to get as much stuff as possible. No other reason. No, I'm just gonna get as much things as I possibly can.
He went to Home Depot and turned it into his home shopping center.
Yep.
He was a Renaissance man, a resourceful man. He didn't forget to go to the liquor store and get the finest wine. See, that might have been missed by people, right? He went in and got 1 case of the best wines they had there. Not liquor, wines. Expensive. And I noticed that. I was like, And the animals that he caught, he dried them out. He cut the finest meats off. He knew how to cook. I mean, this man was prepared to do end of time stuff. The military couldn't find him in the house. They didn't detect any sound waves, anything. As soon as they left,
he was ready. he was ready. If they found that hatch, he was ready.
He would have tore their ass up. Yeah.
Now, he wouldn't have got far, but he was ready.
They would have had to blow their house up.
Now, it would probably be one of those things. Just leave that crazy dude there. We're leaving. Like,
we got to go.
He took out 5 of us already. Nah.
So, I know everybody see me smiling. The uneasiness I told you guys that I had from the beginning of this episode until the end, till the credits went up. The uneasiness of Joel and Ellie, how that dynamic is going to work. How are they going to come to a meeting of the minds? And then the uneasiness of Bill. How he's going to get this done. I automatically take myself and put myself into his shoes. How would I do? First of all, I'm dead. All right. Run out of food. If I dead. I didn't fortify anything. I didn't do anything that he did. Whatever. But I'm like, wow, he's alone there. And then one day, a trap. I think you should hit that spoilers, bro. I think you should put spoilers down at the bottom because this is it. This is it. You gotta leave now.
Escape the building. Go out the back door.
Leave now. Close the door.
Or be spoiled.
Away. This is the part where spoiler talk is coming your way. So, this trap goes off and he hears a hello? Hello? And he's looking down there. He sees the guy, he has a gun trained on him. You hurt? Yeah, just a little bruise. I'm uneasy with the dude because I don't trust a damn soul in this movie, in this game, in this world. We've been trained enough on this game to know that everybody has an ulterior motive. We've all watched The Walking Dead. You don't trust humans. You can trust the zombies or the clickers more than you can trust the humans because you know exactly what their intentions are. And I'm like, God, this guy built this whole little town for himself. He built this whole little world. And none of this stuff ever ends well, man. This doesn't end well, man. And against my own judgment, not his, he lets the guy in the house to give him a meal. Guy takes a shower, he gives him clothes, and the guy is sitting downstairs, but he's looking at the dust in the house. He's like runs his fingers across the mantle place and he sees the dust. But Bill cooks for Frank. And the meal is extraordinary. And then he brings I forgot the name of the wine because it wasn't a Pinot Noir or Merlot. It was something else. It was something that only a trained palate would know. And you know, Bill was like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to know that." He said, "Of course you would." Because I guess Frank saw something in Bill that I didn't see in Bill, that, you know, he was a Renaissance man, but he had a piano in the corner. And, you know, Frank gets on to the piano and he fumbles through it and he sings his song. But this is his favorite song that he picks up out of the songbook, not knowing that that's Bill's favorite song. And he, you know, Bill's like, no, I know anything but that song. And you know, Bill starts to sing the song, but when Bill closes his eyes, my heart sinks right to my stomach because I think that this guy is going to do something to Bill because I already built an attachment to the character. He survived all that stuff only to end up in this position, vulnerable with this guy in a house. And I'm like, damn it, man. Not like this, Neil. Not like this. But then he's naked inside the room in bed, and I'm
like that escalated very quickly. Like
that went from 0 to 60 like that. Because you know they got to a kiss, and you're trying to figure out, is it real or is it fake? I was saying it the whole time. Is it real? Is it fake? Is this a convenience lay? Come on now. How many times have you been with a situation and she don't feel like going home, so she stays, but she knows if she stays. Or the same thing with you. I don't feel like going home, but I don't want to put out, but I gotta put out if she wants me to stay. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, there's no food out there. He has a long walk to Boston. He's just doing whatever. No. It cuts to 6 years later, bro. I said 6. That's one hell of a one night stand 6 years later.
Yeah, so
They married already.
yeah, in the old government they married for what's that law that if you're with someone common law, you married from common law, man. So okay, look, there's a couple things I didn't like about it, okay? You know, people could sit there, they could say what they want. I didn't like the way they downgraded Bill's character. To me, Bill was always a very cautious man. And there's a couple things they did that made him so less of a cautious man. For instance, when stuff popped off, Bill's shooting in the middle of the road, no cover. Just sitting out there naked. Might as well be out there dancing
so we
naked.
get into that part?
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, that's not Bill. That is not Bill. Bill never. The Bill in the game never would have got shot in that scenario unless they surrounded him. He only
got shot because Frank touched him.
No, he got shot because he was in the middle. He had no cover. He wasn't trying to take a cover. He's literally in the middle of the road, just shooting back to back, not trying to cover. No, keep in mind that sure the other people have no cover, but if you're in a strategic advantage where you can have cover but the other people can't have cover, Bill would have chosen the cover. He wouldn't have just sat out in the middle of the road just shooting willy like that.
Okay, I'm gonna push back on that. I'm gonna push back on that to say this. When everything popped off and Frank woke up, Bill was doing his job as a protector to keep everything away from the house, right? That's like if a large animal is coming at you or whatever, and you got your kids behind you, you're going to make yourself bigger than what you are. So he was making himself bigger by standing in the middle of the road, shooting cap. Like, oh my,
that's cap.
Oh my God.
That's cap. Nah, that's cap.
I hear you.
I can understand if Frank was there. He was behind him and Frank, he was defending him. He was in front of him, but he wasn't.
He didn't want Frank to be there. That's why he didn't wake Frank up.
But no, it's not that. It's the fact that isn't Bill's character.
But this is the character of the show.
I get that. I get that. Here's my issue with the King. They were so close to magnifying one for one the entire show so far in those first 2 episodes. And in this one, they assassinated Bill. They might as well have assassinated him. Now, people can sit there and say, oh, you know, you're homophobic. Attic had nothing to do with that. I didn't mind the episode. I thought it was a great episode until certain incidences I didn't like, and I didn't like the fact that Bill ultimately ended up doing a Romeo and Juliet thing on himself at the end. I didn't like that.
Wait a second, we ain't get there yet.
Okay, hold up. Nah, I'm laying it all out there. I'm putting the whole junk on the table, man. That's what's going on here. I was just personally felt like I think that they wanted to highlight Bill as being gay more than they wanted to highlight him in the actual Last of Us universe. And that's how I personally feel. I personally feel if this episode would have been fine, King and Tyler, if there was an episode after it that he didn't die and they did the stuff that was in the game.
No, he needed to die.
But no, here's my thing. Okay, Bill was he was a broken man in the game. But they don't really go in a lot of detail of why he was like that. I thought this episode was highlighting the years he had with Frank and ultimately losing Frank is why he was like that in the game.
Well, check it out. All right. I hear your jadedness, and I'm throwing it away. Because Frank was what Bill needed. Frank was, listen, Bill was the protector. Bill had all the ingenuity, all the know-how. Frank was all the subtle. When you looked at the house after Frank got there for those 6 years, there wasn't no dust on the mantelpiece.
That's not the issue, though. The issue
But
isn't that.
Finish.
Okay,
you got off your joint. When they had their argument and Frank goes outside, it was argument because he wanted to paint to decorate the neighborhood.
See, but that is Bill's character, and I don't mind that part. That part was
I'm
Bill.
I'm giving you why Bill was in the middle of the street. I'm gonna give you the thought process.
First off, I apologize. We're going late this shit. We just had a lot of stuff to talk about this.
Don't worry. This is about to be over soon. Without Frank reaching out, we don't get Tess. We don't get Joel there.
Facts.
Because Bill would never have done it.
Facts.
And Bill sat there with the gun out the whole time. Didn't release his guard. Didn't do anything because he is the protector.
Did you notice how Joe was like? Joe was sitting there and he's like, "Get that gun out of my face." Did you notice that? Like, you could tell Bill wasn't scared of him, but he respected him at that moment. He was like, "You know what? You right." Like,
so he said that much. He said, "Let them do what they doing," because they did it respectfully. After they went inside the house and he showed the house off, because listen, you got to have balance. Frank brought balance to Bill. All right. Him outside shooting in the middle of the street, he was protecting his block. He was protecting his house. He was protecting his mate. He was protecting his love because he didn't have purpose before then. Remember, he was just surviving. He was a survivalist. So everything is popping off and he has all the distractions going off. They don't know how many people's there, but they do see that crazy MF in the middle of the road with the shotgun or the rifle popping off. So either you're going to get burnt up or shot up, but you're going to get the hell up out of here. So when Frank comes behind, because, Bill probably thought he can clear this up before Frank even wakes up. So when Frank comes behind, he looks over to Frank like, did you get hit? Is something wrong? And he took his eyes off the prize for 1 second and got wounded. I'm thinking Bill is going to die. I'm thinking that's it. He said, I'm getting cold. But then the next scene...
It's like 10 years later or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's got like, what I honestly thought was going to happen? I don't know about you guys. I thought that something was going to happen and there was going to be an incident where Frank's like, "Are you okay?" And then he was going to get shot in the head or something.
Yeah.
And then it was going to pan out and then you'll see Joe coming to Bill's house and that's how Frank died. Like, people in the chat, look, I get it. Frank didn't like Bill in the actual game. I get that. But it's like, look, at the end of the day, all that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I don't mind them making them closer in the TV show. I just mind the character assassination and making Bill do stuff that he would not have done in the game. And it would be different if they changed drastic stuff up until now. But they've been very one-to-one. Even scenes from the game to the TV show saying word by word what was said in the game. That's my issue.
I hear you. And I'm gonna let you go, Tyler. But I just got to get my balls off because Attic is grinding my gears. When they switched off and he's in the wheelchair, we don't know what the hell happened. But Frank is looking worse for wear, and Bill's looking a little bit better, and they're caring for each other. But it was a little thing that I noticed. They were listening. They were waiting for the song on the radio from them. Remember in the first episode where he was like, they're waiting for something to come across the radio. Did you hear anything? Or whatever chatter. And at the end of that episode, you heard the song playing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the same song that was playing here.
Yeah, so it was Bill that was sent out the
right.
The
well, Bill or Frank. And the song was a danger song. If
at that time,
wrong.
Frank probably couldn't move. It probably was Bill. So
right. So it was a danger song. If something went wrong, they would hear that song play on the radio and they would know that it's not safe to go there or whatever. Right. And I was like, oh, snap. So I mean, I caught it, and I felt very good about myself that I'm paying attention. But you have a problem with the suicide. I don't. I don't. He had no more purpose. The person that you have is right there. You got to make a decision right there, right now, in this decision right now. I don't know if you're going to believe in God in this moment or not. I don't know if you're going to believe because the world went to S that you have no hope. But at this moment, that person that has been your person for over the last 16 years, they want you to help them check out. That's a hard pill to swallow. And then you're left with, I'm going to be by myself? To do that again? No. He did the only logical thing that you could do in this dystopian world.
I feel you, but I'm still saying Cap. Like,
So we had this same conversation earlier. And
Right.
at first, I kind of agreed with him. I was like, man, I hate that ending because I love the interaction between Bill and Ellie in the game.
Right.
It's great. It's awesome. I think the one thing that both Attic and I didn't think about, and I thought about this after we talked, was in the game, Frank left Bill. So we're seeing Bill without his love there anymore. So the erratic, I'm going to protect myself isn't in a relationship. He left him. So now in the show, we're seeing how he responds when he still has him. It's a whole different person.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to react completely different when you're by yourself and this person has left you and you think they're probably already dead at this point, rather than when they're still right beside you. And okay, I have to protect them at all costs. And I didn't think about that until after the fact too, but in the game, they're not together anymore. So he's gonna act a lot different than he does in the show when they're growing old together. And I think that change makes the episode a lot better than I initially thought, because that it's changed so close.
You're breaking up.
I said the
You're
other
breaking up.
episode.
You're botting.
Oh, yeah,
But,
a little bit.
I understand ultimately where you're going with it, because I believe you and me is like mine. I thought this episode represented love in a dystopian world, and whatever love you find in whatever form it takes, you hold on to it and you protect it with all your heart. And that's what Bill did. But Bill protected Frank, and Frank brought a little bit of flavor, a little bit of life, a little bit of living in a dead world to Frank. He brought the strawberries. He traded a little gun, he said, one of the little ones, for them to have fresh strawberries. He wanted to get dressed up, eat a great meal. And it was a very key part where he told him, do you love me? Well, I want you to love me like I want you to love me. And I was like, wow. Wow. Because he asked him for the ultimate to help take somebody away that is actually your all, but they're in pain, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to do that broken stuff. Because if you looked at it, Frank was the healthy one. Frank was the one that was jogging, getting Bill into shape. So to see him in his wheelchair, it was crushing his spirit.
Yeah.
He's not able to get around and do the stuff that he wants to do. And to see that diminished man at that point in time, Bill still loved Frank for who Frank was. And he didn't see him as a broken individual. Man, that was a serious, serious episode. Because I told you I felt uneasy from the beginning of the episode until the end. and they kept it classy. They didn't show the bodies. They showed an open window. They
Yeah, I
didn't.
think that was like a direct towards like the window in the beginning of the game too. It's like
Yeah.
I said, like I didn't mind this episode. There was things that happened in Bill's town that I just wanted to see in the show, like the school. We're not getting that anymore. Joe
Yeah.
hanging upside down. We're not getting that anymore. Not getting the dialogue between Joe, Ellie, and Bill. There's a lot of scenarios where those were stepping stones. Did Bill's story mean anything to the main story? No, it didn't. But I will say that was a stepping stone that got Ellie and Joe trusting each other more, was the events that happened in that town. And to me, I felt like they didn't care about none of that.
I think they're gonna find a different way to bridge those gaps.
I hope so.
I thought this. See this episode, because remember I played that game twice. I don't even remember the character that much like that. But I won't ever forget this. And I think this is a way, because somebody put in the chat what they said. Somebody said, okay, hold on. The geeky nerd. This is an adaptation. The game is still there if you want that. This is the show. They're raising the bar, in his opinion. And I believe that Neil went back and thought about things that he wrote, that he put down, that he wanted to do over, he wanted to have done over.
And I feel you, but when people say addict, they changed a part of the story that didn't really mean much to the overall perspective of the story. And then I push back saying, well, what did this story mean to the overall perspective of the story?
We don't know
me, yet. You could go back and forth with that argument. Like, to me, there was more that happened in that town than just Bill.
Right.
And there was a lot of aspects that Bill was present for, but it didn't revolve around Bill. And to me, I would have wanted that to be present on screen. I didn't mind this episode. I would have just have liked that Bill didn't die at the end, and the next episode was about the movements of finding the stuff for the truck and going from the point to point. And I get it. I get why they did it. They wanted to broaden that story because that wasn't really talked about in the game. But we could go back to the game as well, where there's a note from Frank pretty much said he hated Bill. So it's like, you didn't just change something, you obliterated the source material to force that. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Because if you go into that standpoint, it's like there was content there. They found Frank, he hung himself in the game because he took his battery. He took Bill's battery. And to me, what we saw doesn't even remotely resemble what actually happened.
I wouldn't want Frank to steal his battery.
Well, it wasn't about stealing or not stealing. They threw that entirely out. It's about, people say this is an annotation. Okay, right. I get that. But what we saw was nowhere near what was in the game in any way, shape, or form either. It was completely changed.
I'm good with it. I mean, I walked away from this episode all the way to the end. I was uneasy. And I made like peace with the episode because I really like Bill as a character, right? I really like the ingenuity, the Renaissance man of Bill, the protector of Bill, that get it done, dude. I really like Bill. And then I really like Frank, because Frank was as genuine as he was when he was in that ditch. And he was there for Bill. And he put a shine to Bill's world.
I feel you. I just, to me, it's like, I
felt
they could have did both. I really do, truly, genuine, felt that they could have gave this scene in all its integrity, but still give me the stuff that happened in the town. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did we get to know Frank in the game?
No. Well, he was mentioned, but it was never. He was never.
Okay.
You never actually seen him
All right.
until you found his dead body.
Let me ask you this again. Did this give you a better context of Bill and Frank's relationship?
Yeah, it did a good job. But see, that's not my issue.
Right.
My
You
issue
just wanted
isn't
to make
that.
sure that it plays the game 1-1.
They could have back a door. They could have easily have done all of this. It's just I feel like if you want to go and expand this that's going on, Bill and Frank's love life and Bill and Frank's entire journey together, that's fine. But I feel like killing Bill at the end is where I draw the line, because it's just like this wasn't an important character of the overall story of Last of Us, but it was a stepping stone that led to the events that happened with The Last of Us. There's a lot of good dialogue that happened. To me, if I would have had my way, Frank would have pretty much like, look, I don't want you to do that. We still have people here that rely on you. You need to be there for them. And I would have liked him to have lived, and he be that hate.
If I got to take my wife out, my behind is following right behind her. I
feel you on that. I feel you on that. But to me, I would have loved it because it would have shown why Bill is angry like Bill is.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. The Last of Us 2 was more progressive in a lot of its takes and took a lot of heat. And maybe this scene was in Last of Us 1, but the times was too early before to have those scenes in that game. And I know the DLC came later where Ellie came out in the game, because I never played those DLCs, and I'm a fraud for that. And I'm going to get into that because I got it. But during that period of time, I think Neil took out that part because I think he wanted to tell this story. And I can't wait to get Neil on Lords of Game. Iron Lords podcast Sundays at 1 p.m. Neil, Mr. Druckmann, if you're watching, baby, I definitely got a bunch of questions for you.
It's like I said, man. I don't think the episode was bad. I just feel like I went into these first 2 episodes. They really sticking real close to the source material, man. They're doing a really good job. And then 3, and it's like 3, like Neil had like a string on the piece of paper that says episode 3, and he's just linging it along. That's all. I mean, we've been going way too long. 2 hours. We close in the shop at this point. Is there anything else you want to say concluding this episode?
No. We went way over budget.
But we don't normally go this long. It's just there was a lot that we had the DC stuff. We had this stuff. We
James
had
Gunn,
to talk about
Tyler
like 3
on.
movies.
We talked about whatchamacallit, You People. We talked about Violent Night, and I did get to talk about Ragnarok. Man, listen, this is a fun ride. I'm having such a great time. We have different stuff to watch every week. What is it that you want me to watch next week, Attic? Because I know it was something that I wanted you to watch. I gotta you tell me what. Sorry, you tell me what you wanted me to watch.
Netflix shows dropping this week. I think this tried to keep us up on the up and coming stuff. You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? So I think what's something that you want me to watch?
I'm texting my I know it was something that I said I wanted Attic to watch, and I'm trying to get it right now. When are we gonna start doing the post it in the whatchamacallit to get people to vote on it? I think we should do that.
Yeah, but right now we're about to announce the Patreon stuff because that is up to date. I actually want us both to watch the first episode of the new season of You by next Tuesday.
You?
Yes, it's
okay.
that. Have you ever seen that show?
Old episodes.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you need to watch 2 episodes of You. That's all I ask. And
old episodes?
Yeah, first season. 2 episodes
Listen,
of
guys,
you.
I'm gonna do a video drop on Twitter to tell Attic what I want him to watch
Yep.
because I know I have it. I just forgot it, and I was too caught up in these episodes. But we didn't give the episode rating, brother. You about to walk out the door without giving the episode rating, and I give this episode rating a 5 popcorn.
I give it a 3.
You a 3 kind of guy today, huh?
Yeah, I personally feel like that.
You don't like the love between Frank and Bill killing each other at the end. Well, Bill killing both of them, but Bill doing the suicide.
To me, I just wanted them. I don't mind them deviating, changing certain things of the story, but my biggest thing when they make these is don't assassinate character development. And to me, you have the pieces on there, build around that, but don't assassinate the character of the actual game character. And to me, they didn't assassinate Bill. I feel like Bill's character was intact at that point, right? And I'm okay with that. But I was upset the fact that they killed him, so we didn't see that rough Bill after everything happened. That upset Bill, that isolated Bill, that you don't touch that Bill. That's what I'm upset with. That's what I'm personally upset with.
Well, I gotta play the game and I gotta see Bill again, but I like this Bill.
Yeah. So okay, we do have a Patreon. We've had a Patreon. First off, shout out to everyone that showed up. We had almost 100 people. I'm trying to do a better job at sharing. We do have a YouTube channel. It's right there. Go to that, click it, subscribe. It's pretty much what's happening is it's going to be the individual parts of it because I record them separately and I'm throwing them all over there, their own thumbnails. So definitely go over there, sub to that. We have a Patreon. We've been told multiple times they want to see us react to certain things. So we're putting it on the Patreon because we do want to give value to you guys over there on the Patreon.
So go take a shower, Frank. You stink.
Yeah,
take a shower, Bill. You stink.
Yeah, so we're going to do that, and so how we've done it is we put it behind the $7 and $10 tier. $7 tier, you get to watch all of the reactions that we do monthly. Hopefully, we'll try to get a couple out a week, just depending on what's going on. King's watching Attack on Titan. I'm going to find a good format that we could do it on. I think I'm probably about to start watching Titans. The HBO show. Yeah, so I'll put that on there. Then what we'll do is we have a $10 tier. You do a $10 tier, and what will happen is you'll be able to give us suggestions, and me and King will come together and put a poll out on Twitter or maybe Patreon a member, and we'll let you guys vote on that. So that's over there. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Go to Dip Down Anime, and go like, follow, and subscribe. My guys is out here, man. He moving these streets. Stop playing.
So there's the Patreon. So go to there, sub. Yeah, help some people out, man. We'll be posting that.
Dragons, what's up?
We'll be posting that here soon. I think you guys will really like the content we're going to provide there. Obviously, we're going to start doing like Q&As too. So for $5 a month on the Patreon, what you could do is you can ask questions to IOP, to the Addict Show, to R&R, and you can ask stuff to Combat Talk. So, have a little good back and forth with everything. We do have a $50 tier where you could come on the show as a guest. We have expanded that now where, when you're in that $50 tier, you can choose to go on any of the shows but Combat Talk because that's a solo show. So that's what's going to happen. When I start watching Titans, I'll put that on there. I'll talk to King, find out exactly what we're going to do. I do have a format I want to do. I had to go run it by King. I'll have to help him set up on his stuff, and hopefully next week we'll start popping out content on that. But I think you guys are going to enjoy it, man. I think we're gonna provide some really fun stuff over there on Patreon. But we put it in the thing, if you guys want to go there, throw a couple bucks a month, man, get some good content. Because for $10 a month, you get access to asking us questions. You can watch our reactions, and you can suggest reactions. And there's 4 shows weekly that you can pop in there to ask questions with. I think that's a good value. What do you think, King?
I think it's fantastic. That $50 tier, you can get on the Iron Lords podcast if you want to do that. That sound dope.
Yeah,
You
but
can
the,
get
the
lower
thing about the
COD.
tier though,
Except-
the $50 tier is obviously we'll come together, find good days, but you can ask to be on a different show every month. So
Yep.
you feel like you're getting more. Something pops off with the Marvel with DC.
Oh, but
I want to be. Huh?
Attic and I are going. We are joining Friday. Tomorrow. We got to join. Whatchamacallit this week, the movie thing. Because we have to every week. We're going to have to go out and watch movies and bring you that content because it was a movie that dropped, and that's what it was. It was a movie in a movie theater that we're supposed to see, and it just came out. Man,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
You right there, nail on the head. That's right. So
all right,
I gotta get solved in that situation.
Yeah, so we'll talk to you guys later, man. We appreciate it. Man,
Hey.
2 hours, 2-hour R&R. We ain't never
It
done
didn't
that.
even feel like it.
It's because we talked about DC for a minute, but me just stating what we talked about gonna make the show longer. I appreciate you guys coming back. Definitely showing at the Attic show tomorrow with me and Dirt. I might bring on someone else. We're gonna have some pretty good time tomorrow. But I appreciate everyone coming through here, and until next time, peace.
Peace.
Hold up. Actually, right before I quit, we're still live. I want to try to send you guys over somewhere, man. Like, I feel like there's plenty of people in this community that could really use the support. Go over there, tell them what's up. So we're going to see who can we send them to, King?
I don't know who's on right now.
We have Jamaican Gamer. He's a streamer. That's pretty much all that's being told. So we're gonna send you over there, man. He's a streamer.
What did the Jamaican Gamer say?
Yeah, he plays Call of Duty a lot. I think you guys will like him. Go over there and tell him Iron Lords Podcast sent you. That's essential. I'm gonna go